Hey guys! Today I'm doing a Q&A video and I got these questions from a post on my Instagram, so shameless plug, if you want to participate in any future Q&As, be sure to check out my Instagram account. Let's get into the questions. So to begin with, how did you come up with your username studyquill? So when I first started out with study social media, I started out on Tumblr and my URL was The Brightest Witch Studies. But that was really long and a pain to type out, so I decided to switch it over to something else that was related to Hermione because she's my icon and inspiration. I brainstormed some URLs related to Hermione and studyquill was one of them, and then I did a poll on Tumblr and my followers at the time voted and picked studyquill. If you are one of the OG people from way back when who actually voted on this URL, thank you very much. It's great. What are some of your favorite books that you're currently reading? I'm currently reading a lot of books on my phone because, not sponsored, but I really like the app Overdrive, which allows me to download ebooks from my local library. So the book I am currently reading on my phone is Everybody Lies, Big Data, New Data, and What the Internet Can Tell Us About Who We Really Are by Seth Steven Davidowitz. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And another one of my favorite books that I'm currently rereading is What If by Randall Munroe, the creator of XKCD, the webcomic. And as the tagline says, it's serious scientific answers to absurd hypothetical questions. So here's what it looks like. Would recommend. I'll link it in the description. What's your favorite class that you are taking this year? That's a really hard choice. I really like my math class because I'm pretty good at math, not to toot my own horn, and this is one of the hardest math classes I've ever taken, and it's really helping to challenge me and improve my skills. Of course, I also really love yearbook. I've been doing it since freshman year, although I'm only a sophomore, so that doesn't mean much. But I do really like it, that's why I came back. That was kind of a cheat answer because it was 2, but asking me to choose my favorite class is like asking me to choose my favorite child. I just like all my class. How do you start a studygram, and how do you get good lighting when you don't have money for lights? To start a studygram, I have an advice for new studygrams video, which I'll link in the cards right now, and I'll link it in the description. For lighting, you honestly don't need expensive equipment. Natural lighting is the best option. I personally use this huge row of windows that's in front of my desk. Hopefully I'm putting an overlay clip right now. Don't be lazy editing, Jasmine. What grade were you in when you started your study blur? I started my study blur when I was just starting my second semester of 8th grade. I was one of the youngest people there at the time. You definitely do not need to start that early. What is your favorite pen to use for different occasions if there are different favorites? For bullet journaling, note-taking, writing letters, etc. Most of the time I use the same couple of pens, but I do have somewhat of a preference for certain purposes. So for note-taking, I like to use either the Pentel Energel or the Zebra Sarasa because those are really smooth, but also dry quickly so I can highlight over them with no problems. For bullet journaling, I like to use the Uniball Signo needle tip, which is the smoothest pen I've ever used. Since I don't really need to highlight for bullet journaling, drying quickly isn't a big issue. I was wondering, what is it you like in life? Any passions or hobbies or tastes? I really like photography, making videos, graphic design, drawing, calligraphy, pretty much every visual art form. That's why I do this whole study social media thing. I also like to run. I do cross country and track. Would recommend. Join cross country, guys. I really like to read as well. I wish I had more time to read, but school is just too busy. And my favorite book series of all time is Harry Potter. Speaking of books, I should take this out of my filming background. For which classes do you use a notebook, and which classes do you use a binder, and why? The only class I use a notebook for is math, because my teacher requires us to use a notebook. For every other class, I use loose leaf paper, and then I take what I need with me for school each day in this expanding file folder And then once the unit is over, I archive everything in a binder, kind of like this one from Muji with my French notes in it. My buddy from Vivette Study asks, what are your favorite color combinations? I really like anything with gray. As you can probably tell from my clothing today, blue and gray, nice. I also really like gold with burgundy. I've got my mild liners. Let me show you some of my favoritinos. Yellow green with magenta. It just kind of adds a tropical flair. Blue and gray, kind of like my shirt. It's just that cold wintry feeling. Who are your top inspirations? I have a list on my computer. Let me just pull it up real quick. So as far as filming goes, or just vibe in general, I'm really inspired by Lavender and Michelle B. They're not really study related, they're more lifestyle orientated, but I really love their aesthetic and their topic of videos. For studying, bullet journaling, that kind of topic, I really love Amanda Rach Lee. Focus sign. I'll link everything in the description. I don't know how to pronounce most of these. My Life in a Bullet, Study Therein, Vestibular, Blue Lahi, and Bookmark with the A removed. They've got some quality content, 10 out of 10, would recommend. What is your Hogwarts house? Ravenclaw! Do you have any goals or New Year's resolutions for 2018? And if so, what are some of them? I don't really have a traditional New Year's resolution. I have more of habits that I want to start establishing, and I do these new habits every month, not based on the new year. But a couple that I want to start doing in 2018 include... By the way, self-promo, check out my 2017 bullet journal flip-through video. I'll link it here. Some of my habits that I want to start doing are journaling in French so I can improve my French while also journaling, practicing Japanese and Italian because I'll be traveling to Japan in April and Italy during the summer. Read before bed instead of going on my phone, and Inbox Zero, which is answering all of my emails, Tumblr asks, and DMs every single day. That's all I've got for today. Let me know whether you like this video, whether you want more of these face style videos in the future. Thank you for watching, and see you next time!